Today I want to show you how I made this track titled Alive. I released this track on the label Simplify, and I do also have another track with them. And the reason why I opened this project is because I was transferring all my data into a new laptop. You know, the process of that, transfer the projects and installing the new plugins and also the sample pads and all the stuff related with that. And I came across with this project and I was interested to open because I know that I have a couple edits on that I didn't use at the final version. I think that you will find that interesting to hear. The other thing is I didn't find the final project, the one that I used to export the master, but this one is one of the closer ones that I can get. I think it's just the editing process of the lead sound, the only thing that it is different. Other than that, everything else is the same. And let's start by giving you a preview of the track. And I'm gonna start from the build up all the way to the drop section. This is how it sounds. So that's the master for this trap, and I'm gonna start show you all the elements. Okay, so this is the view of the project. Let me give you a short walkthrough. So we got the chorus, a lead sound, the bass line, pads, percussion for the build-ups, sample risers effects. This is the other idea that I have for the main lead sound or the vocal shock that I used on this idea before I ended up with the final product. And the drop section, the elements, chord, lead, melody, the bass line, kick, snare, percussion, and sample effects for the transition. And I'm gonna start from the intro all the way to the outro. And we have over here the chorus or the brace section. This is how it sounds. As you can see, I have 4 layers. On the boss channel, I only have saturation, EQ, OTT, and another EQ. The reason why I didn't use too much processing is because this is the way how I used to work before. So I used to apply all the processing and the effect processing on its own channel. In this case, for this layer, this one over here, on its own channel, I have distortion, EQ, SideQ, filter freak from Soundtoy with this Reese high pass sweep preset, and Protobird. This is a free reverb. I think it's only available for Windows. I'm not sure about that. And for the other sound, which is this one over here, I had distortion, an EQ, compressor, another EQ, a ring modulation, crosspeak, and another EQ. And that's the reason why I didn't apply too much processing on the boss, because on its own channel, I do most of the processing. But I think it would be better to add distortion, EQ, compression, and another effects to glue everything together. Over the time, you learn that kind of stuff. And then we have the bass line over here. This is how it sounds. A Reese type of bass. Then we have the pads. I only have the layer over here, as you can see. Let's look for the boss channel. This is how it sounds. Then we have the build-up percussion. This is how it sounds. So I do have 3 layers over here. This is snare roll, this other clap, and this other snare layer. For the processing of that one, on the boss I just add compression, an EQ, OTT, reverb, Endless Mild, which is the plugin from Data Life, and another saturation with this native plugin from FL Studio. Then we have the risers. This is how it sounds. I had this percussion playing on the break section. Let's look for that. This is how it sounds. It's really low in volume, so I might increase the volume on the editing process so you can hear that more clearly. And then we only have the sample transition over here. I'm gonna play a bit this section so you can hear how everything sounds. But I'm gonna play the final version, the master, and this is how it sounds. Okay, so then we had the drop section, and we're gonna start with the chord. As you can see, I only had 2 layers. So I had the brass playing and the chord. This is the brass. And the chord with the panning effect. Then let me show you the bass line. And I have a different variation in the second drop for the bass line. This is how it sounds. It has the glide effects over there. That's the reason why it sounds more, I don't know what to say. I do like the different variation that I have over here. Then we are into the kick, snare, and the percussions. I had 2 versions, this one over here and the one for the second drop or the different drop over here. This is how it sounds. Then we had the different, it's not too different, it's just a little bit of variation in this section. This is how it sounds. At the end, I had this other little switch over here, this part over here. I'm gonna play in a little bit how it sounds, everything in the mix. But now that I show you this, let me show you the boss processing for the percussion. And on the boss, I had Camel Crusher, an EQ, compressor, another compressor, Neutron Elements. The reason I don't have this plugin at the moment because right now I'm using the full version. So I assume that I was using some of the presets that it has for drones for neutral elements, and it might be just compressor and EQ, maybe a bit of saturation or coloration, let's say. Then SciQ, or it's for inflator. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this plugin in the past, but this reverb is for free. The name is Round. It's from Native Instrument. This is the plugin that I used in the past before I start using the Valhalla Vintage plugin. And lastly, I had this EQ. So I think the only thing left is the melody, and this is how it sounds on its own. For the melody, I also have two sections. This is the first one. So this is how it sounds. And I think I have a different variation over here. And for the processing for the melody, let's see which one is the boss channel. Okay, I think it's filter. So this is the boss channel for this one. As you can see, I have Decapitator, an EQ, SciQ, OTT, Echo Boy, the same reverb preset as I mentioned before, Round, an EQ, compressor, another EQ, and just to add that extra details, Sangudizer, as you can see over here. I think I just need to show you one other section over here, but let me play a little bit this section of the drop so you can hear the variation of the melody. And this is how it sounds, everything. So that's the different variation on the leads. And the thing that I was mentioning is this part over here. I have another chord playing in the build in between these two drops. This is how it sounds. And I have two layers because one of these is just a single hit that I was panning far left and far right just to give that extra movement on the stereo field. This is how it sounds. This is how it sounds in the mids. This is how it sounds in the mids so you can get the idea. And the processing that I apply on this is Decapitator, EQ, OTT, Scarlet EQ, and the filter, and the endless mod, as you can see over here, which is this endless this automation over here, the filter, and the filter cutout for the other layer. And that'll be all for this extra layer over here. And right now the only thing left is the different idea that I have for this drop. I'm not sure if it's gonna be any problem at the time that I upload this on YouTube. If something happened, I think I might just have to re-edit the video, but that's fine. I used to have this, let me make sure that everything's mute. I used to have a vocal shop idea for this track before I ended up with the lead sound. And as you can see, I had everything, the layers already. I didn't delete anything because I always like to keep all the ideas that I have in this track in the same project. The good thing on FL, I think by this time they didn't have that function, I guess the word that I should say, that you can create different version in the same project. So it's easy for have different idea for the track that you are writing. So this is the track, and I had also the channel for this. Let me make sure that I'm just playing just a So that's the sketch of the track or the main foundation, and this is the vocal shock that I have. I do have the processing still, as you can see over here. So this is how this idea sound. I'm gonna play a little bit from the build up all the way to the drop. I just opened the project and I just kind of get the rough idea by just playing the playlist. So that's the reason why it's really interesting to me listening this idea. I haven't opened this project in a really long time. I do like the idea. I'm not sure exactly why I ended up skipping this edit that I did, or how did I came across with the new lick that I built for the trap. I know that I have a couple other ideas and vocal shots. I'm not sure. I was looking for them. I didn't find some of them. I just found this vocal, well, this recording that I did, and it might sound really interesting to you to hear. So let me play a little bit let me play the sketch so you can get an idea of this version that I did have for this trap. So I got the recording over here, but I remember that I did apply a few processing, but I'm not sure where it is right now, or if I ended up creating a new project for this. But at least the main rough idea is over here, so you can get the idea of this, or I mean, you can comment what you guys think about this for either this recording that I did or the vocal shop. So this is how it sounds. Oh man, you got the recording idea that I did have for this track, which is really interesting. The other thing that I want to show you is the little ending part of this track, so you can get the idea of how it sounds, or the final master. So at the very end, I had the two lead and the bass line variation playing, one in the first half of the track and the other one in the second half. And I did a little editing or kind of switch over here to add that extra variation of the track, because the track is really repetitive and I want to do something to keep the track interesting. So this is how the final track sounds. So that's the final part of the track, or the final section. And when it comes to processing, maybe I didn't do anything too complex, maybe just the sound selection and the processing that I apply. For what I can see, it's nothing too complex, just about the track arrangement and the sound selection. So that's the reason why I didn't take too much time explaining the processing of each sound. I'm still using the same plugin from the Soundtoy bundle, from the iZotope product and stuff like that, as well for the FabFilter processing stuff. So nothing really different from what I use right now, besides a few other plugins that I have found in the past years, I'm surprised that in this new laptop, it's really smooth to play, I have the OBS recording, I have some of these tracks still have the processing on, and it is completely fine, so I'm really happy with this. And I will look for the other project that I have with Simplify. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to open that track because some of the plugin doesn't work properly on Mac. And thank you Simplify for releasing this track. So that'll be all for this video. You can stream this track in every major platform, and I hope that you learned something on this video, or at least you enjoy watching those ideas that I have, like I said before. So thank you for watching.